Hey everybody, this is Troy with eBuzz Central. Today we're going to take a look at something very interesting. Have you ever wanted to install Arch or give Arch a try, but you've just been kind of leery about stepping off into those waters? Well, I've got something that's going to make the job very easy. And we're going to take this trip together because I've never used it. But before we get started, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, or follow my channel. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, you can support us by becoming a member to the channel, buying us a cup of coffee, or better yet, becoming a patron to the channel over on Patreon. Those links will be in the description below. Right now, we're at the Anarchy Installer website, which is anarchyinstaller.gitlab.io. It just basically states it's a simple and intuitive terminal-based Arch Linux installer. You can download it from here. It's got a lot of information down here. It says their goal is to create a simple and intuitive Arch installer, focusing on improving the user experience. It gives you multiple desktop environments to choose from, window managers, automatic or manual disk partitioning, a selection of Linux kernels, bash shells, everything. Anything you want to do in this thing, you can set up through this installer, and it makes it really simple. Plus, they're looking for testers. If you would like to become a tester, you can sign up to do that. And then they have frequently asked questions. Is Anarchy a GNU Linux distribution? Anarchy is an installer for Arch Linux, not a distro. You can download the Anarchy distro, but this is to install just vanilla Arch, which is what a lot of people are looking for. They like the Manjaros, they like the Endeavors, but they want a vanilla Arch feel. And that's what this gives you, and that's what we're getting ready to do. How can I contribute to the project? It gives you information here on how to do that. And then up top, you've got home, about, frequently asked questions, and contact. And then, of course, download. I'm going to go ahead and click download. And when you come over here, it'll have images right here. You've got a x86-64 ISO and then an i686. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the ISO. And if you wait for just a moment, it should start downloading. I'm going to go ahead and save the file and click OK. And the download has started. So once it's finished downloading, I will get back with y'all. Okay, it is finished downloading. Let's go over here and make sure it's showed up in our downloads folders. And there it is right there, Anarchy. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. I'm going to go ahead and close out of the website now. And we're going to go ahead and go to Gnome boxes. Open that up. And we're going to go ahead and maximize that. We're going to come over here and add. Then we'll scroll down, operating system image file. And then we will go to Anarchy, click on it, click open. I'm going to go ahead and click next. And then, of course, right here, it says you can customize how you want it to set up. So I'm going to go ahead and click customize. I'm going to go ahead and assign it 3 gigs of RAM just in case we need that. And then go ahead and bump this up to 30 gigabytes. 29.7, that'll work. And I'm going to create. Okay, the Anarchy installer has popped up. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Okay, and we've booted up to the main screen. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this. I guess that's as big as it goes. That's odd. It should be full screen. Let me switch this over to Virtualbox and see if it gets easier to see. Give me just a moment. Okay, we're coming over to Virtualbox to see if we can get a full screen. Let's go ahead and click new. Let's call this Arch. We'll click next. Let's go ahead and give it 3 gigabytes of RAM and click next. And we're going to create a virtual hard disk. Let's go ahead. Virtual disk image, that's fine. Dynamically allocated. And then we're going to go ahead and bump this up to, I'm just going to 34 gigabytes. Let's create. Now we're going to go into settings. Let's go ahead and click settings, system, base memory, processor. Let's give it 2 processors. Go to display. We'll leave that there. Go to storage. Let's select Anarchy. Click OK. And we should be good to go to start it. So let's close out of that and start it and see if we get a full screen. Let's go to Anarchy Installer. And for some reason, it comes up to this and does not give us a full screen. So let me try something else here. It won't look as good, but I do believe we'll at least get a full screen. Okay, for some reason, guys, it will not let me go full screen and my keyboard stay captured. So I'm just going to go from here. So let's go ahead and select English and then select your key map. No matter whether you're Greek, Spanish, French, pick out whichever one goes for you. Go ahead and I'm going to pick United States. And then it lets you know Anarchy is an installer for the Arch Linux distribution, not a distribution based on Arch. Now be careful when you look this up. If you're interested in using the Anarchy Installer, I'm going to include the link in the description below because Anarchy does have their own ISO image that you can download, and it's actually an operating system. But we want vanilla Arch. We don't want nothing else added. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. What do you want to do? Update Anarchy, start the installation, or drop into a shell? If you've downloaded Anarchy and you've had it on your system for 4 or 5 weeks, you may need to update it, but I just downloaded it freshly from their website, so I'm going to go ahead and hit start. Update the mirror list. It says download and rank new mirrors. Edit the mirror list manually. If you want to do that, you can, or skip updating mirrors. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to download and rank new mirrors. Okay, the mirrors have updated. It's automatically sending me to set locale. You can pick whatever your locale is here. I'm going to pick the United States. Then it's going to ask me for my time zone. So I'm going to scroll down and find United States again. And then I'm going to pick Central Time Zone. Now here, select your desired method of partitioning. Generally right here, I would do a manual partition. But if you're new to Linux or you're new to Arch and you just want to see if this installer is going to work for you, just pick automatic partition drive. Let's go ahead and hit enter. It'll let you know there's your drive. There's the size of the drive. You can go down and go ahead and click OK. And then right here, it's going to ask you what your desired file system type is. You've got ext4, 3, and 2. You've got BTRFS, JFS, Reezer file system, and XFS. I'm going to go ahead and stay with ext4. It's one I know. I also do a lot with BTRFS, but for this video and for this experiment, I'm going to leave it on ext4. Now, if you want to know what the advantages or disadvantages are to some of these file systems, go ahead and do some investigation, and you may want to choose something different. Would you like to create a swap space? Generally, I wouldn't, but if you are somebody that wants to create a swap space, I'm going to show you real quick how to do it. Let's go ahead and click yes. Right now, our swap space is set at 512 megabytes. If you wanted to, you could run it up to 1 gigabyte, which you could just put 1 and a G for gigabyte. If that's something you want to do, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at the 512 megabytes, and click OK. Would you like to use GPT partitioning, guide partition table? Right here, this really depends on your personal preference. I'm going to select no, but do your investigation. If it's something that you want to do, you can obviously do it. Let's go ahead and click no. And it says, warning, will erase all data on the drive. Tells you the location, the size of the drive, your file system, your swap space, and would you like to continue. Right now, it's preset on cancel. I'm going to go ahead and arrow over to write changes, and let's do that. Okay, that is finished. Now it says select your desired install option. Right here, you've got a lot of different options. You've got Anarchy Desktop LTS, Anarchy Server, or Anarchy Server LTS. I'm going to tell you, don't pick any of the Anarchies. They come pre-installed with things that aren't vanilla Arch. What you're going to want to do is go down here to Anarchy Advanced, hit enter, and right here, you're going to get options. You're going to get vanilla kernel, hardened kernel, long-term support kernel, or Zen kernel, okay? Best one to do is vanilla kernel. Let's go ahead and pick it. But what you're going to want to do is Arch Linux base with development. Basically, that's going to download packages that you're going to need to download anyway after you get to your home screen, because there's going to be applications that require these tools. So go ahead and pick Arch Linux base devel vanilla kernel. Hit enter. Now you can select your desired command shell. You can pick bash, dash, fish, tcsh, or zsh. This is really up to you. I'm going to go ahead and pick bash, but do some reading. If you're somebody that likes doing fish, just pick it. I'm comfortable with bash. That's what I do most everything in. So that's what I'm going to go with. So you pick what you want. Just hit enter and move forward. Select your desired bootloader, Grub, System Linux. A lot of people will ask, Systemd is not on here. I don't know why, but I'm kind of glad it isn't. You just got 2 options. Just go with Grub. It's the most used and the most popular, so let's go ahead and hit Grub. Now over here, it says select your desired network utility. Default is NetCTL, which is Network Manager for Graphic User Interface. That's what we're going to pick because it does have a Wi-Fi menu as well. I'm going to go ahead and pick it. And then 64-bit architecture detected. Do you want to add multilib repos to pacman.conf file? Yes, you do, because there will be times when you're going to need that 32-bit software library for those programs to run. So go ahead and install it up front. You won't have to do it afterwards. Enable DHCP at boot, which is Dynamic Host Control Protocol. This automatically configures your IP address. If you don't want to manually do it after every boot, just pick yes. Trust me, pick yes. It's a safe bet. Install wireless utilities. Provides Wi-Fi support necessary for connecting to Wi-Fi. Select yes if you're using Wi-Fi. I'm going to go ahead and select yes. And then it says install OS Prober. Basically what this is if you're going to dual boot and you got Grub installed, it'll automatically look for another OS on the system and then put it in your menu when you do your startup. I'm going to say no because I'm not dual booting. I'm in a virtual machine, so we're going to move forward. Would you like to install a desktop or window manager? Yes, you would. Now, what I'm going to say right here, do not install the customized desktop. It's the one done by Anarchy, and it has a lot of things already pre-installed and tools pre-installed. It's not going to give you the vanilla Arch feel is what I'm saying. If you want a true vanilla Arch to where you can build around it, you're going to want to go down to a clean desktop environment. So go down to clean desktop environment and hit enter. And right here, you got your choice from Budgie, Cinnamon, Deepin, Gnome, Gnome Flashback, which is your classic desktop, KDE Plasma, LXDE, LXQT, Mate, XFCE4. You can go down here and pick whichever one you want, okay? I'm going to go with KDE Plasma. Now, if you wanted to, you could go up here and install Budgie and install Cinnamon. You can install all of these that you want to, but just remember, when you do that, you're going to create conflicts between the desktops and you're going to have issues down the road. So I don't recommend it, okay? And it asks you, install minimal plasma desktop. Yes. VirtualBox guest install detected. Installer will provide VirtualBox guest utilities, which is great. We're going to move forward. And then, would you like to install XF86 input touchpad drivers? If you've got a laptop and you're using a touchpad, this is a yes. If you don't, just click no. I'm going to go ahead and select yes. And would you like to install a display manager? Yes, I would. Now, right here, if you download something like a Budgie or a Gnome, you're going to want to use the Gnome Desktop Display Manager. If you got your XFCEs and things like that, you're going to want to go with the LXDM or the Light DM. But because we are using KDE, we're going to go with the Simple Desktop Display Manager, which is SDDM. That's usually what KDE uses, so I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And then set your system host name. I'm going to go ahead and change this to my name, Troy H. Set a password. Let's go ahead and set a password. And it's going to encrypt that password. And then it's going to say, do you want to add a user? Yes, I want to add a new user, actually. So I'm going to add a new user. I'm going to go with Troy Holt. Click OK. Write your full name. Click OK. Set my password. It is set. It's encrypting my password. Now, do you want to enable pseudo privilege for Troy Holt? Basically, what this does is give you like administrative access. If you're used to Windows and you have administrator access, this gives you the same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and pick yes. And I'm done adding users, so I'm going to go down, hit done. Please wait while we update the Pacman databases. This shouldn't take too long. That took about 30 seconds, and it brings you over to install system. It tells you here the download size is 972.5 megabytes. Estimated install time is about 4 minutes. Estimated speed coming from those mirrors, and then packages to add. It gives you a list. So what I'm going to do here now is hit install, and when it is finished, I will definitely get back with you all. Okay, everybody, it's at 100%. It's been about 3.5 minutes, and it's still downloading. Okay, everybody, it's almost done. It took 12 minutes. What it does is it hits 100% when it's done downloading the operating system, and then it starts downloading and installing all of the add-ons, like your desktop, your Wi-Fi, things like that. It's doing the grub a while ago. Now it's finishing up. We should be there in no time at all. Now it's setting my language and my locale. Now it's running an update, and it is finished. It took a total of about 12 to 14 minutes to download and install everything. Now it gives you some options right here. We are in a virtual machine, so if we reboot system, all it's going to do is go back into the ISO again. So what we're going to have to do is power off the system. So I'm going to go down here and go to power off. You go out of full screen mode. For some reason, it's not letting me use the keyboard when it's full screen. So I'll go power off system, and the system has been powered off. Now what we're going to want to do is go over here into settings, storage, and you'll want to come over here. Let's pick that. We're going to want to remove that. And right here we have the Arch VDI. Let's click on that. Click OK. And now when we hit start, we should boot into a vanilla Arch install. There's Arch Linux. Let's go ahead and hit enter. Let's view full screen. Look at that, guys. Let's go ahead and put in the password. KDE is logging in, and we are at the desktop. But that is a quick install of vanilla Arch using Anarchy Installer. I need to go through and, of course, adjust resolution and things like that. But it's minimal. You've got development, Qt development, internet. You don't have a browser. Multimedia, there's your VLC. System settings, pulse audio control. System, utilities. So it worked, guys. That's the first time I've ever used it. It went smooth, other than my Virtualbox not letting me adjust a few things or capture my keyboard here and there. So what do you think? Is Anarchy Installer something you might download and use to install vanilla Arch with? Let me know in the comments below. Do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, you can support us by becoming a member to the channel, buying us a cup of coffee, or better yet, becoming a patron to the channel over on Patreon. Those links will be in the description below. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next video.